the documents, Ben?
We had a deal.
The film begins in the bustling city of Brussels, Belgium, where a man stealthily infiltrates a CIA black vault and makes off with a mysterious canister. In a violent turn, he shoots a security guard as he exits, quickly passing the canister to accomplices waiting on the street. They abandon the bag at the roadside, which is soon collected by a man in a car. Meanwhile, in Langley, CIA agent Anna Brand arrives at her office and attempts to reach the man involved in the heist, but her calls go unanswered. Back in Belgium, we meet Ben Logan, who is reconnecting with his daughter Amy after years of estrangement since her recent move from the States. Concerned about her slipping grades, Ben encourages her to focus on her studies. As Amy's friend Sadie arrives to pick her up, she reminds Ben not to be late for Amy's portrait awards ceremony later that evening. Ben works at the Kohler Company, a subsidiary of the Howgate Group, where he specializes in testing security technologies like locks and iris scanners for military and government applications. One day, a colleague uncovers a troubling fact: Howgate doesn't hold the patents for the products they are testing. Ben raises this issue with Derek Kohler, the enigmatic owner of the company who was seen earlier in the car, but Derek dismisses his concerns and instructs him to keep it confidential while he investigates. He also reminds Ben about his presentation that night, brushing aside Ben's mention of his daughter. As night falls, Ben works late and leaves a package for the head office before hurrying out, oblivious to the fact that he is being watched. Although Amy wins first place at her ceremony, by the time Ben arrives, she is already left with friends. He eventually finds her at an arcade with Nabil, a classmate who is helping her with a project. Despite Ben's reservations about the arcade environment, Amy retorts that he should have been on time. When Amy suddenly experiences an allergic reaction after eating cookies Ben gave her, she is rushed to the hospital. The following morning, after her discharge, Ben apologizes for forgetting about her allergy. He then stops by his office to retrieve a package, only to be stunned to find the entire floor cleared out, with no signs of his colleagues or any ongoing operations. Growing increasingly worried, he tries to call the office but discovers his phone battery is dead. He heads outside to use a payphone and speaks with a woman who informs him that there is no record of the Kohler Company ever existing. Convinced there has been some sort of misunderstanding, Ben decides to drive to Brussels to resolve the situation. Upon arriving at Howgate's headquarters and requesting to speak with Derek Kohler, he is met with disbelief when told that no one by that name works there. Meanwhile, Amy finds herself in trouble when a security guard confronts her while she's taking photos. Ben's frustration escalates into belligerence, prompting security to escort him to meet the CEO of Howgate. There, he is met with a shocking revelation: the company has never had a subsidiary named Kohler and does not manufacture the products he believed they were developing. Convinced of his own reality, Ben attempts to explain his recruitment and show them the emails and contacts he has with the Howgate Group, but when he turns on his cell phone, he discovers it has been wiped clean. The men conclude that Ben has unwittingly been working for a phantom company, testing non-existent products and reporting to an officer who has never been employed by them. Desperate for clarity, Ben visits his bank to obtain records of his salary deposits, only to find that there are no records of his existence there either. Just then, he encounters Floyd, a former co-worker who appears equally bewildered by the situation. In a shocking turn, Floyd brandishes a gun at Ben, demanding silence. He then kidnaps both Ben and Amy, forcing Ben to drive while ignoring his frantic questions about the company. As Ben subtly signals Amy to fasten her seatbelt, he accelerates sharply. Floyd orders him to slow down, but instead, Ben slams on the brakes, sending Floyd crashing into the windshield. A fierce struggle ensues between Ben and Floyd for control of the gun, causing the car to accelerate uncontrollably before it flips over. In the chaos, Floyd fires at Amy as she attempts to escape, but Ben lunges at him in a desperate attack. He demands to know who Floyd is working for, but Floyd remains silent and succumbs to his injuries. Seizing the moment, Ben takes Floyd's cash and keys before grabbing a stunned Amy and fleeing on foot just as the police arrive. With law enforcement searching for them, Ben finds refuge in a nearby house by breaking in. Amy is in disbelief over the fact that Ben has killed a man and insists they should go to the police, but Ben knows they would not be safe there. Though Amy is full of questions, Ben admits he has no answers but pleads with her to trust him. He believes their best chance for safety lies in staying together. They board a train back to Brussels and stop at the train station, where they see news reports about their incident. Ben warns Amy about the surveillance cameras and instructs her to stay put while he searches for the locker that Floyd's key belongs to. As he reaches the lockers, Amy notices police officers closing in on Ben and rushes to alert him. Realizing he's being pursued, Ben quickly grabs a package from the locker and vanishes into the crowd. Amy, left alone, becomes a target for the cops, forcing her to make a hasty escape. Fortunately, Ben is nearby and pulls her into a throng of people fleeing the scene. As he examines the contents of the package, he discovers photographs of his former co-workers alongside images of Amy and her grandfather back in America, triggering a wave of panic in her. Ben meticulously marks all the addresses on a map and identifies a nearby hospital, which he decides to visit with Amy. Upon arriving at the hospital's morgue, they are confronted with a chilling discovery: all of Ben's former co-workers have been brutally murdered in various ways. Among the bodies, Ben spots the worker who had written a part number on her hand and quickly jots down the number for future reference. As they step outside, a man approaches, inquiring about Ben and Amy. Suspicion clouds Amy's mind. She feels that Ben is concealing something significant from her. She reflects on his recent actions and starts to doubt her understanding of who he truly is. The assassin catches sight of them and opens fire. Panic ensues as they sprint away, dodging bullets that strike innocent doctors and nurses in their path. They manage to escape to another floor and find a hiding spot. However, the assassin soon tracks them down. When he discovers Amy, Ben leaps into action, launching himself at the attacker. A fierce struggle ensues as they grapple for control of the gun, each trying to gain the upper hand. Just when it seems the assassin has the advantage and is poised to shoot Ben, Amy intervenes, but not without consequence. She gets grazed in the process, allowing Ben to seize the opportunity to fatally wound the assassin. As the sound of sirens fills the air and police flood the hospital, Ben and Amy make a daring escape through a window, commandeering a car to flee the scene. In a restaurant bathroom, Ben tends to Amy's wound, revealing that the list he found was a hit list and that Floyd was a professional government assassin. While Amy's mother only hinted at Ben's government ties, he clarifies that he was actually a CIA agent. Meanwhile, at Langley, Anna meets with her superiors, who inform her that both Floyd and the other assassin were CIA assets, both eliminated by Ben, a former operative under Anna's command. They explain that Ben was decommissioned 6 months ago after he defied orders, resulting in a ban from returning to the USA imposed by the Oversight Committee. The men then present Anna with footage of a break-in at the vault where sensitive documents related to the Department of Justice were stolen. The CIA had been gathering evidence against Hellgate following the sinking of one of their merchant vessels, which resulted in the loss of its crew. Most families were compensated, except for one that pursued legal action, leading their lawyers to uncover damning evidence of Hellgate's involvement in shipping illegal arms to destabilize nations for profit, an operation that directly falls within the CIA's purview. They need this evidence to bring Hellgate down, and their only lead is Ben's presence in Belgium at the time of the theft. They urge Anna to locate him, recalling their past intimate relationship. In a twist of fate, Anna contacts Derek, who breaks into the capsule where the stolen evidence is kept. He is furious at how the CIA has betrayed him and his colleagues and resolves to keep the stolen documents as leverage for his survival. In the dimly lit restaurant, Ben opens up to Amy about his role with the CIA, explaining that his primary responsibility was to navigate people through perilous situations. With a heavy heart, he apologizes for the deception he maintained for so long. He suspects he has been unwittingly manipulated by a shadowy organization to infiltrate secure facilities and expresses his determination to investigate the part number he noted earlier. Aware they need a safe place to stay for the night, Amy reaches out to Nabil, who enlists the help of his older brother, Kareem. In exchange for €2,000, Kareem assists them in obtaining fresh clothes and arranging transportation to Brussels, where they secure a room with a local family. During their stay, Amy reveals to Ben that her mother often spoke of him fondly, believing she still held feelings for him until her final moments. Meanwhile, Anna arrives in Brussels at the CIA vault, launching her investigation to track down Ben. At Hellgate headquarters, Mr. Bramer, Hellgate's lawyer, is in the midst of settling with another grieving family when he receives a call from Anna. She confronts him about the unnecessary killings of the Colhair employees despite having a deal in place. It becomes clear that Bramer is after the Hellgate evidence, and Anna had orchestrated the break-in to retrieve it on his behalf. Operating under the guise of running Colhair as a covert operation, she had secretly enlisted Ben's expertise due to his unparalleled skills. Bramer reveals that Ben had started digging into matters he shouldn't have, necessitating his removal. Mistakenly believing Ben to be just an engineer, Anna corrects him, stating that Ben is actually involved in CIA black ops. She warns that if Ben uncovers the truth, both Hellgate and Anna herself will face dire consequences. Bramer urges her to prioritize finding Colhair, mentioning that he has brought in an expert to handle Ben. As tension mounts, we see the assassin Maitland arriving in Brussels, with Nabil as his first target. Kareem is at home when he encounters the assassin holding his daughter hostage. Meanwhile, Ben and Amy sit in an internet cafe, researching the patent number Ben recorded, which leads them to Total Securities in New York. However, when Ben attempts to call the number, he realizes it connects to a CIA line. In a parallel investigation, Anna uncovers Marcus Wolf Investments, the company that leased Ben's office space and has another address in Brussels. Impressed by her efficiency, Ben learns that Anna has already scheduled a viewing at this new location in just 30 minutes. Back at Nabil's home, tragedy strikes as Nabil returns to find Kareem dead but discovers his daughter is still alive. When Ben and Amy arrive at the new address, they find it has been hastily vacated. Ben asks the realtor for a moment alone, then reconnects a landline and begins speaking in French to a woman on the other end of the line, impersonating Derek and inquiring about Marcus Wolf. Meanwhile, Anna's team intercepts the call originating from the location, and Anna instantly recognizes Ben's voice. Ben successfully tracks down Marcus Wolf to a hotel, where he obtains his room number. He leaves Amy in the lobby, instructing her on how to stay alert and act as his eyes and ears. Upon reaching his hotel room, Derek finds the door ajar. Hearing the sound of a shower, he cautiously steps inside, only to be ambushed by Ben, who reveals that Marcus Wolf is merely an alias. In a fierce confrontation, Ben demands answers about why he was manipulated into hacking the CIA. Meanwhile, Amy notices CIA agents, led by Anna, entering the lobby. As Anna steps into an elevator, Amy discreetly follows her but quickly exits to rush up the stairs, hoping to outpace the agents while pulling the fire alarm to create a diversion. Derek begins to confess that a woman orchestrated the entire operation to recover documents from a canister and that he is, in fact, CIA. Just then, Amy bursts into the room, stunned by the scene before her as Derek uses his gun to take his own life. Ben and Amy flee the room with the capsule just as Anna arrives to find Derek's lifeless body. They escape to a parking lot where agents open fire on Ben, who returns fire until Anna commands her team to stand down. She calls out to him, offering protection from the agency. Meanwhile, Amy sneaks into the valet office and starts setting off car alarms, creating a distraction for Anna. In the chaos, Ben ambushes Anna and holds a gun to her head. She warns him that the agency will eliminate them both if he doesn't trust her, but Ben refuses, convinced that Anna betrayed him 6 months ago. She insists he is mistaken, but just then, Amy pulls up in a car, allowing Ben to escape with the capsule. As they drive away, Amy demands to know who Anna is to Ben. When he dismisses her as merely a coworker, she doesn't buy it and accelerates, pressing him for details about a kill squad, which she overheard Anna mention. Finally pulling the handbrake and bringing the car to a screeching halt, Ben reveals the truth. He killed people for the CIA and did the dirty work that no one else wanted to tackle. Overwhelmed with emotion, Amy breaks down and accuses Ben of tearing her away from her life and friends in America just so he could play the role of a father. In a fit of anger, she storms out of the car and hops onto a train, leaving Ben behind. Back at their temporary home, she calls her grandfather, pleading for him to come get her. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. When the owner goes to answer it, they are violently attacked by Maitland, who has tracked her down. Meanwhile, Ben returns to their apartment only to find residents mourning over a dead body. Relieved to discover it's not Amy, he rushes outside and encounters Nabil, who demands retribution for his brother's death. Understanding Nabil's pain, Ben agrees to let him join him on this perilous journey. Nabil leads them to a friend's house, where Ben finally reviews the files containing incriminating evidence against Halgate. He uncovers a shocking truth: Halgate has been shipping weapons to destabilized countries in exchange for their valuable lithium resources. To his dismay, Ben also discovers Anna's name on Halgate's payroll. Determined to confront her, he calls Anna to arrange a meeting at a train station. When she arrives, accompanied by CIA agents, the sound of a ringing payphone catches her attention. Ben instructs her to board a carriage.
Go! Over there!
But as the train begins to move, he abruptly tells her to disembark, leaving her isolated from her agents. He then directs her to another nearby train, where he awaits her alone. Once together, Ben reveals the file that bears her name and questions how long she has been involved in treachery. Anna dismisses his concerns, claiming it's merely business. She warns him to hand over the documents to Halgate, emphasizing that she cannot guarantee the safety of either him or Amy. In response, Ben sends a defiant message to Halgate's boss, demanding Amy's release or threatening dire consequences. At Nabil's friend's home, Ben utilizes his expertise to create explosives. Meanwhile, James Halgate III is brought to court for a settlement with another family. After the hearing, Ben approaches James amidst the crowd and discreetly hands him a cell phone. James passes it to Bramer, and Ben asserts that he will deliver the evidence only when he knows Amy is safe. As Ben walks away, Bramer spots him and sends his men after him into the subway. In a swift confrontation, Ben takes down the attackers before vanishing. Anna storms into James' office, urgently seeking a conversation. She warns him that Ben is a lethal threat and insists on overseeing the exchange. Although James dismisses her concerns as excessive, Anna stresses the importance of resolving the situation, as her payment hinges on it. After obtaining the address from Ben, she proceeds with her plan. At the meeting location, Ben prepares a suitcase rigged to detonate alongside the evidence against Halgate. Anna retrieves Amy from captivity for the exchange. As they step outside, chaos erupts when Anna unexpectedly shoots 2 guards dead, only to be fatally stabbed in the stomach by Maitland. In the ensuing panic, Amy flees but is swiftly caught by Maitland. Ben arrives at the meeting spot just as James, Bramer, and their men appear. Armed and resolute, he demands Amy's return, but Bramer counters by asking for the evidence first. James reveals Amy to Ben and warns him not to repeat Anna's fatal mistake. The deal shifts dramatically when Bramer insists on including Logan in the exchange for Amy's release. Reluctantly, Ben relinquishes his gun and is reunited with Amy. In a heart-wrenching moment, Ben hands Amy the remaining cash he has and urges her to leave for her safety while he stays behind. Overwhelmed with emotion, she breaks down in tears as Nabil arrives on a bike to escort her away. Ben then delivers the briefcase containing the evidence to a satisfied James, who conspires with Bramer to eliminate Amy and her grandfather within a week. As Maitland leads Ben to a car, he discreetly hands over another piece of evidence intended for James. When James opens the briefcase a second time, it detonates in an explosion that kills him, Bramer, and Maitland instantly. Meanwhile, Nabil drops Amy off at the airport, and they share a bittersweet kiss before she waits anxiously for her flight. Just as she begins to lose hope upon hearing attendants call for Marcus Wolf, her heart races as she sees Ben approaching. They embrace tightly, tears streaming down their faces, reuniting against all odds. Thank you for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.